So a very warm welcome to Parsati Foundation, and we will say Hari Bol 3 times to welcome Prabhuji. So if you can unmute your phones on your Zoom call, we will welcome Prabhuji with 3 Hari Bols. Hari Bol,
Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Krishna, thank you, Mataji, for your kind words. So I was requested to discuss on Bhagavad Gita verse number 3.1 to 3.10. So let us initially recite the verses and then go after discussing purports and discussion. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yet Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram. Hare Krishna, is my voice properly audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
This is perfectly audible, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we'll recite the Bhagavad Gita verses from 3.1 to 3.10. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, Karma Yoga, and we will be discussing the first 10 verses. So you can recite along with me, or you can repeat what you prefer. Okay.
So Prabhuji, you can recite it. We will not be reciting behind
Okay,
you.
sure.
Please recite on mute.
I'll recite. Okay. Arjuna Uvacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhirjanardana Tatkim Karmani Gore Mam Niyo Jayasi Keshava. Arjuna said, O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? Vyamishrenaiva Vakyena Buddhim Mohayasi Vame Tadekam Vadanishchetva Yena Shreyo Hayapnuyam. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividanishta Pura Pokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation and others by devotional service. न कर्माणा मनारंभा अन्यै अन्यैष्कर्ण्यं पुरोष्णुते पुरुषोष्णुते न च संन्यासनादेवे देवा सिद्धिं समाधिगच्छति. Not merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut karyate hya vasha karma sarva prakriti jairgunai. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the acquired qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaras indriyartas vimudatma mityachara sa uchyate. One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind always dwell on the sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Yes, yasti, yas- yastindriyani manasa niyam niyamyaram niyamyarabate arjuna karmendriya karma yoga amastak amastakta sa vishyate amastakta vishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyaye hya karmanaha Sharira yatra pichate na prasidyeda karmanaha. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O sinless Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. Sahayagnya praja sruštva puro vacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadva me amesha ostistva stakamaduk. In the beginning of creation, Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with the sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving the liberation." Okay, so I have a nice PPT here. I will share so that you can refer to. So Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamritamaya Tasmai Sri Prabhu. So here, like in this chapter, this is called Karma Yoga. So you might be already discussed all these sections of Bhagavad Gita, how we reach to this point of Karma Yoga. Okay. So basically, like Bhagavad Gita starts with Arjuna's bewilderment. Now, in the beginning, Arjuna goes and observes the both armies, and he sees his relatives and friends on both sides, and he thinks that if I want to kill my own relatives to achieve this kingdom or not to achieve my happiness, it's not worth of killing. Okay, means I better give up my own happiness or my own desire to have kingdom rather than killing my own relatives, which is against the principle of dharma. So in order to educate Arjuna, like what is dharma and what is adharma, what is to be done and what is not to be done, which is the duty of a duty of a guru, Krishna starts speaking in second chapter. Okay, until second chapter, Krishna doesn't speak because first chapter totally Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Okay, Arjuna's lamentation and bewilderment. And in the second chapter, Krishna, in the second chapter itself, Krishna summarizes entire Bhagavad Gita. So it is said that if one doesn't have totally time to read entire Bhagavad Gita, you can just read second chapter, you will understand the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So now Arjuna gives different reasons for not fighting, and finally he becomes very indecisive. Means he doesn't know what to be done and what not to be done. So he gives up his own mental speculation and he surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He surrenders unto Krishna. Until that point of time, he was thinking Krishna as my friend, and I can discuss with him, I can argue with him like that. But now Arjuna was very serious about Krishna's recommendation. So he said, Krishna, I'm totally bewildered about what to be done and what not to be done. So I give up my own speculation and surrender unto you. Shishyasteham shadimam prapannam. I accept you as my guru and consider me as a disciple and give instructions. Why Arjuna does so? Because we can argue with family, we can argue with friends, but not with guru. It is said that in the Vedic culture, arguing, one of the offenses is to disobey the orders of spiritual master, guru or avagnya. So when Arjuna decides to follow Krishna without any reservation, then he surrenders unto Krishna and accepts Krishna as his guru. So then Krishna gives sorry. So Krishna's in the second chapter, he discusses about Sankhya philosophy. He starts with Sankhya philosophy, analytical study of body and the soul. He says to Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, you are worried about your relatives, but you are worried about the physical body or physical appearance of your relatives, but they are not physical bodies; they are spirit souls. Okay, they are atmas, not the bodies. Okay, so you don't have to worry about them, their existence, because nobody can kill them. They will never cease to exist because they will exist after you killing them also. Okay, and later then he in a systematic way he proceeds to give the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So when we talk about Arjuna, we have to put ourselves in the position of the Arjuna and listen to Krishna's instructions as if he is personally instructing us, because every one of us is going through some kind of struggle, some kind of indecision, or may go through, as of if you don't have right now. So then Krishna starts with karma kanda. Karma kanda means profit and loss principle. Okay, he says if you fight and win the battle, you'll be promoted, win the battle, you will have the kingdom. But in case if you lose the battle and you meet death in the battlefield, because you are fighting on the side of dharma and you are a kshatriya, you will be promoted to the heavenly planets. So then, better than that profit loss analysis, better than that is following the nishkama karma yoga, means without expecting any result, just working for the sake of work. Nishkama means without desiring any fruits of activities. So all the work is performed without any expectations of the result. It doesn't mean that work will not give any result. Work will give the result, but one should not focus on the result, but only on the action to be performed. What is my duty and what has to be done, that as per my duty, I'll do that. That is the Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then Krishna explains about the symptoms of self-realized souls. Okay, so the self-realized souls, then like when one performs karma kanda for the sake of Krishna, then it will lead to Nishkama Karma Yoga. When one performs Nishkama Karma Yoga, it will lead to knowledge, means knowledge about Krishna consciousness, how to perform activities as a service to Krishna. Means like Arjuna, don't just work. Instead, you have to work with the knowledge. So Krishna says, working with knowledge is more higher than just work itself. Okay. Now, when Krishna says that, Arjuna gets bewildered. Oh, Krishna is saying knowledge is higher than work. Then that will lead to the third chapter. When Arjuna gets bewildered, that if Krishna, because somebody who have knowledge will not go after the fruitive activity. They will renounce everything. How? Because somebody like, if you see we have great respect for saintly person or a person in the renounced order of life. Why? Because the person in the renounced order of life has understood that the fruitive activity is not going to make me happy, or it is only temporary happiness. So what does the person do? He renounces the fruitive activity and engages in the process of devotional service. So when Krishna says not working with knowledge is higher than just work, Arjuna gets bewildered. So Arjuna says, okay, if you say it, then it will lead to the chapter 3, where Krishna discusses about the karma yoga process. So in this karma yoga process, the chapter 3 starts with Arjuna's confusion between renunciation and the action. And Krishna now, he describes how Nishkama Karma Yoga is better than Jnana for Arjuna. Okay, because Krishna himself says he only created different ashramas and different varnas. If you see any set of people, there will be like different mindsets. Somebody who wants to be to work and to be productive or to control, or somebody who is very intellectual. There are different kinds of people. So based on their type, based on their activity, one has to choose or perform their duties. Okay. So in the case of Arjuna, Nishkama Karma Yoga is better for him. Means working with detached offering, working and detached offering fruits to Krishna. Okay, that will lead to purification. So that's how Krishna is going to discuss about those topics. Okay. Now here is the flow. Okay, Arjuna said, if wisdom is superior to work, that is Arjuna's question. And why do you want me to engage in fighting, which is terrible war? Your contradictory instructions are confusing. Because Arjuna gets bewildered when Krishna says, Arjuna doesn't understand the slight difference between Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana. So, and your contradictory instructions are confusing. Please describe. Here, Prabhupada writes, Arjuna is asking clarification for our benefit, because like people in this material world or any conditioned soul might get bewildered what has to be done, what not has to be done with this equivocal instruction. That's why Arjuna is asking more clarification on that. Now Krishna said, previously I have explained there are two paths of this world. Path of intelligence analysis, which is called Jnana Yoga, and path of active service, which is called Karma Yoga. A person cannot attain spiritual freedom merely by withdrawing from work, nor can it be achieved through insight alone. No one can refrain from action even for a moment. Everyone is forced to act according to one's own qualities in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. One who is externally resists the senses, but whose mind inwardly dwells on sense objects, is deluded pretender. Okay. Mentally restraining the senses by detaching from the results and positively engaging in karma mentally restraining the senses by detaching from the results and by positively engaging them in karma yoga is superior approach. Perform prescribed activities is better than inaction. Without work, you cannot even maintain your own body. So that's what the entire summary of today's discussion. Okay. Arjuna is confused and Krishna is going to establish how working in Krishna consciousness is better than giving up the activity, because based on one's own situation. So who can give up one's own activity? Somebody who reaches to the point of, like there are 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. 4 varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. And these varnas are classified based on what type of inclination that person has to perform. Means like what kind of work a person would like to perform. For example, Brahmanas, they deal with more of spiritual education, teaching, and all those things. Kshatriyas, they cannot tolerate any kind of injustice. They would like to protect others. They would like to maintain the order and peace in the society. And Vaishyas are productive class. They can generate the wealth and they can support everybody. And Sudras, they can assist everybody. And with respect to ashramas, it starts with Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So Brahmachari spends his time in education, means getting educated, getting training, or learning scriptures, or acquiring knowledge from the guru or the spiritual authority. And Grihastha maintains all the other 3 ashramas who are dependent on him. Like, he supports Brahmacharis, he supports Grihasthas, he supports Vanaprasthas, he supports Sannyasis. And Vanaprasthas are the retirement stage, means somebody who is actively involved in Grihastha stage, and they enter into Vanaprastha ashram taking retirement from active engagement in the material world. So by that, they will have time for going through the spiritual spiritual education, or giving more time, putting more effort on spiritual self-realization process. So when one goes through all this process of Brahmachari, Grihastha, or Vanaprastha, or one goes through rigorous Brahmacharya ashram, one reaches to the stage of Sannyasa. Sannyasa means thinking that there is nothing that I can, like I'm attached to this in this material world. So he finally gives up everything and he focuses his attention totally on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So means totally nishkama, means no desire at all. So when Krishna said you have to achieve that is your goal, that in that spirit you work, to Arjuna. So Krishna says, means you should have the knowledge, like see, Krishna says to Arjuna, you work, first of all he said, perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. Means don't desire any fruits of your activity. Then higher than that is sacrifice your fruits of activity. Means like you don't even think of the enjoying or because you should have full conviction that the fruits of action in this material world are not going to make you happy eternally. They are only temporary results. When you have that conviction, then you will work with full renunciation. So now Krishna says, Krishna conscious is not inertia. Okay, somebody who becomes Krishna conscious, they are not like lazy or without doing any work. They are always engaged in some kind of work. Okay, but those who withdraw from active service to conserve service to Krishna, consider spiritual life to be inactive. Such misunderstanding is often withdraws one to be secluded place. Okay, but if you see sometimes like somebody who is like sometimes frustrated or frustrated of not getting the expected results in this material world, they will actually sometimes refrain from active work and then goes into secluded place. So that is not recommended in Bhagavad Gita, because if you see the beauty of Krishna consciousness is Krishna already gave the practical examples by through the life of different kinds of devotees. For example, one cannot imitate others and take up any spiritual path. One has to take the spiritual path according to one's own nature. For example, if you see the episode of Vishwamitra and Vasishtha. Okay, once what happened? Vasishtha was a sage. Vasishtha was a Brahmarshi. He was residing in the forest, and Vishwamitra used to be king in his previous ashram. Okay, one time what happened? Vishwamitra goes to a hunting excursion, and when he was returning from the hunting with his army, he actually stops by the ashram of Vasishtha. And Vasishtha invites him because he was a guest. So Vasishtha invites him and he says, I would like to give you the reception. I would like to host you today. And so I would like to, why don't you just stay here, because it's already getting dark. You stay here and take my be as my guest. I will take care of you. And Vishwamitra says, oh sage, you might be thinking about myself, but there is a vast army that is along with me. You cannot take care of. You are a simple, sage who is living in a small ashram. So let me go on my own way. But Vasishtha says, no, you are my guest. It is my responsibility. You don't worry about what I can do for you, but I'll. You don't worry about me. I can do whatever you wanted, whatever is good for you. Like that he says, and that evening, that day, Vasishtha gives a very grand reception. Means very grand, whatever befitting to the kings. Okay, he gives the best quality of prasad and best accommodation and best service. And whatever the type of food the army or the company of Vishwamitra wanted to eat, Vasishtha was able to give that. And also he saw different kinds of drinks and different kinds of servants and then entertainment, everything he gave. And looking at that, Vishwamitra gets bewildered. This Vasishtha is so simple person. How could he give so much? Because this kind of treatment is not possible even for the kings also to give. So he goes and inquires, how can you give such a reception? Because you seem to be very simple. You wear a simple cloth and your body, you seem to perform severe austerities. But how can we provide us so much of facility for our enjoyment? So for that, what does Vishwamitra says, Vasishtha says is, I have a cow called Nandini. So, and by her grace, I was able to give you everything. So immediately when when Vishwamitra hears this, oh, this sage has a magical cow. Now, if not like I'm the king of this entire province, so if anything valuable should be with me. And moreover, if that such a productive cow, if it is with the sages like Vasishta, he can only get some milk for his daily sacrifices and not make not will not be able to make best use of it. But if being the king, if I have that, I can take care of my kingdom, I can take care of my all necessities with that cow. Thinking that he says what he says, can you give that cow to me, because it would be more helpful to me, right? Because I'm the king, I have the right, like that he says. And Vasishta, being a Brahmana and being a great saintly person, he says, I don't have any problem, you can take the cow. And but we can take the cow if the cow wants to come with you. So when Vishwamitra and party tries to take the cow Nandini comes to Vasishta Muni and says, oh Vasishta, I have been serving you faithfully for so many years, and you are giving me away to this this Kshatriya. Please protect me, like that. Nandini cow requests Vasishta. Vasishta says, me being a Brahmana, I will not be able to hold back anything. But if you desire so, you can protect yourself. Like that, Vasishta says to that Nandini. And when all the army, all the soldiers are trying to force Nandini to go with Vishwamitra, Nandini actually produces different kinds of armies, and which will come from horns, which will some types of armies come from its legs, some armies comes from his udder, and they totally outnumbered the Vishwamitra's army. They totally killed or drove away the armies of Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra faced a terrible defeat in the hands of Vasishta, and the hands of Nandini. Okay. So Vishwamitra took this insult because he was a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are so egoistic. Okay. So and he tries to he goes back and he again comes with the army. Again, Nandini cow defeats. So like that, he faces total defeat in the hands of Vasishta. So when this happened, Vishwamitra realized that this material things, of king, power, army, these are all useless when compared to the spiritual power. I want to achieve that spiritual power. So what does he do? He renounces everything and goes to forest and started performing yajna. And not yajna, tapasya, the severe austerities to please Lord Shiva. So, but his intention was I am not able to defeat this Vasishta because I don't have enough of weapons. So, he goes and worships Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, because he was a Bholenath, he easily pleased, he appeared in front of Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra asked for different kinds of weapons. So, and Vishwamitra, okay, Lord Shiva gives up, okay, all different kinds of weapons to Vishwamitra. So, with all these weapons, he says, now I'm going to defeat Vasishta. He comes and he challenges Vasishta. So, Vasishta and Vishwamitra again are face to face again. So, now this time, Vishwamitra tries to attack Vasishta with different kinds of astras, which are given by Lord Shiva. Now, even though he has all this benediction, but still, when Vishwamitra was shooting all these different arrows, Vasishta simply puts his danda in front of all these in front of him, which absorbs all these astras into it. So he again got defeated. So now he again goes and performs severe austerities. Vishwamitra, like he wanted to make more advancement, because he saw like Vasishtha was able to make all these feats only because he was a Brahmarshi. So I also want to become Brahmarshi. Like that, he goes and started performing austerities. So when he was performing austerities, this time he was so severe and so so fixed up. He started performing austerities. He was focusing on pleasing Lord Brahma, even Vishnu himself. So now what happens? Because it is not his own nature, Indra wanted to test him. So he sends Menaka. So when Vishwamitra was in intense performing intense austerities, Menaka comes and she actually sounds her ankle bells. Just by hearing that, Vishwamitra gets disturbed, and he gives up his austerities and he spends time with Menaka and loses all his tapobal. So, and he falls down totally. And when Menaka realized that, okay, this person has totally got distracted, now my purpose has achieved. So Menaka, what does she do? She gives up the company of Vishwamitra and goes back to heavenly planets. So when Menaka goes back to heavenly planets, Vishwamitra was bewildered. Arey, what happened? Why I came and what I did? Like that. He was thinking like that. And then he again started performing austerities. Now this time, Indra sends Ramba. Like after several years of performing austerities, Indra sends Ramba. So when Ramba comes, Vishwamitra immediately realizes, oh, this time, this lady came to distract me, like that. But he sees Ramba with a very severity in his vision. So due to which Ramba becomes like a stone. Like actually she was burnt. So previously with Menaka, he lost his, he fell down due to his lust. And second time, he fell down due to his anger. And third time, he falls down due to, there is one person who was not very qualified. He comes to Vishwamitra inciting the competition, so he, in different ways, the essence is he falls on many times. So now, why we are discussing all these pastimes is based on one's own nature, one has to pick up this activity. Okay. Now, Vishwamitra was able to become successful after many years. He becomes a Brahmarshi and he was able to please Lord Brahma. And then he later on becomes the guru of Lord Ram. Okay. So, so that is the story of Vishwamitra. So here what we can learn is, Vishwamitra was a person from Satya Yuga. He was able to perform tapasya for thousands of years without any effort, even though he fell down, he was able to come back and he was able to carry on again. So, but being a Kali Yuga products, we don't have that much time. We can't afford to waste that much time and again fall down and again come back and perform again and then finally achieve success. So with the Kali Yuga bodies, which is maximum life expectancy is 100 years. So we should be very careful in choosing the spiritual path. Okay. So there are two ways of picking a spiritual path. Okay. One is called Aroha Pantha and another one is called Avaroha Pantha. Aroha Pantha means ascending process. Means one tries to achieve knowledge by his own endeavor. And Avaroha Pantha is one tries to identify perfect spiritual master and receive knowledge from him. So first kind of process, one may try out different things and then fail and then learn and then learn a lesson, and then that way you will step by step ascends in the process of self-realization. It is a very long time-taking process, and a lot of failures and lot of confusion and misguidance is possible in that path, in the Aroha Pantha. But if one takes the Avaroha Pantha, means one takes the path of descending process, means descends. How descend? What is descending process? Knowledge descends from higher spiritual authority to a disciple, means knowledge acquired from sadhu, guru, and shastras. So a disciple or a devotee acquires this knowledge. So our Krishna conscious process is Avaroha Pantha. So we accept a spiritual master, and we accept Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master, and acquire, gain knowledge from him, and we acquire different sadhus who are bona fide in our spiritual culture, and also we accept different scriptures which are prescribed by sadhus and gurus, which will bring us closer to service of Sri Radha Gopi, Radha and Krishna. Okay, so now, coming to this section, when Arjuna says that, if you think that renunciation is better than work, why you want to engage me in this battlefield? But for that, Krishna says to Arjuna that for you, even though there are two paths of analytical process, like Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Yoga, and Karma Yoga. So Sankhya Yoga is related to Jnana process, means one has to analyze different things. Am I this body? I'm not this body. My body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. And I'm not this body. I'm not this. Our body is composed of 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas, and mind, intelligence, and ego. And one who is very focused, very strong in this process of analysis, he will come to realization that through analysis, he will come to realization that he is not this body, he is a spirit soul, not the matter. And then he will further goes deeper into this analysis, and then finally comes to the conclusion that the devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna is the ultimate thing, and that is called Sankhya Yoga. And other kind of person, this may takes a lifetime to realize. But it is not just a theoretical understanding. It is practical realization that matters. Okay, any amount of knowledge without realization is not going to make any great impact on our life. Only realized knowledge will help us. Okay, so if you're not able to spend that much time, and if you're not that intelligent, what you have to do, you just have to follow the process of Karma Yoga, or Nishkama Karma Yoga, or Buddhi Yoga. In this process, what we do everything for whatever we do as a service to Krishna. So depends on Krishna. Now, senses can be easily controlled, okay, by depending on Krishna. Okay, so that is the process which Krishna recommends to Arjuna. You don't have to give up your duty and go to forest and meditate. You just perform your activity, your duty, with renunciation, without attachment, and offer all your activities, perform all your activities as a service to me. That way, you'll be able to easily control the senses. So now he says, what is the difference between these two paths? Is Arjuna was thinking that Sankhya or knowledge is higher than the Karma Yoga process. But Krishna says karma yoga is or karma yoga means working in Krishna consciousness is better than the philosophical speculations. Okay, so for he gives like, of course, both the paths are will lead to the same destination of realizing the supreme personality of Godhead. Like like how Kumaras or Jnana yogis, uh, they were able to realize Krishna. Like even though they were Brahman realized, until they met the supreme personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha, they were not able to become devotees. But ultimately, they become devotees through Jnana yoga process. But the personality like Janaka or Prutu, uh, they not Prutu, sorry. Okay, uh, Priyavrata, they actually perfected their life through the karma yoga process, means through activity, through the process of performing everything as a service to Krishna. So, they achieved so high position through the process of work only that Janaka Maharaj became the father of Mother Lakshmi herself, and also like Prutu Maharaj was able to do very like very great works while he was ruling as a service to Krishna. So both these process will ultimately the uh, lead to the self-relation through by realizing Krishna. Okay. Now, but somebody who renounces everything without proper relation, what happens is, even though they realize they renounce everything, they still are not free from this conditioning. But because what we discussed, one has to renounce in a systematic manner. Like first he has to enter into brahmacharya, and then grihastha, and then vanaprastha and sannyas. Or if one is able to directly from brahmacharya, he can take directly to sannyas. But if without proper following proper process before taking brahmacharya or before taking he directly, one cannot directly jump to sannyas. If one does so, then there is a good chance of falling down. Instead of that, one can engage everything. Like if you see here, how this family is doing their own work, maintaining the family, and but again they are engaged in the service of Krishna by bhakti yoga process, performing kirtan, sitting together and doing kirtan. Or if you have money, you can support some spiritual projects, or do book distribution or prasam distribution. Or if you have knowledge, and if you have ability to propagate, you propagate the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, or philosophy of Krishna consciousness to everybody, so that people in general can accept that philosophy, and then that is also uh, perfect path. Okay. Now, but if you don't do that, if you want to, Krishna says, if you want to restrain your senses, Krishna says it is not possible, because it is not possible to simply stay without performing any work even for a second. Not doing anything is also kind of work. So not doing anything means sitting idle without, or sleeping. Sleeping is also kind of work. So as soon as you take the birth in this material world, your time starts now. Like that means the clock is going on round and on, hour after hour, minute after minute. The time is calculating what kind of activity, what kind of karma that you are accumulating. So it is not possible not to do anything as long as we are in this material world. So it is better for us to perform Krishna conscious activities. How? But Krishna says the activities, the Krishna conscious activities will not bind us. But if you do perform karma for your own sense gratification, that will bind you. But if you perform the activity as a service to Krishna, he says, right? So if you, we already discussed all these things. If you perform activities as a service to Krishna, like yajnartat karma nonyatra lokoyam karma vandana tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So Krishna says, you perform your activities according to based on your own nature as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, or in different stage, or as a brahmachari, as a grostha, as a vanaprastha, as a sannyasi. You perform your own duties as a service to Krishna. So by performing your activities as a service to Krishna, you will not be bound by the actions. How? Because see, like if one performs, like no, if like for example, like our Aacharya gives nice example. Okay, what is that? Like no, if a person, like if a military person, he kills enemy soldiers in thousands and hundreds, he will be rewarded. Because he was killing not for himself. He was killing. He was defending the country. He was fighting for a cause. But if the same military person is the same soldier comes home and picks a fight with his neighbor and he kills his neighbor, one person. Even if he kills one person, then he will be arrested and put in the jail. Why? Because in the second case, he is not authorized because he is doing that for himself. But in the first case, as being a soldier on the border or being a police officer, he like being a soldier in the border, he can kill anyone, the enemy soldiers who actually are attacking the nation. So that is the difference. If we work for Krishna, we are like the soldier at the border killing the enemies. But if you work for our own sense enjoyment, then Krishna will, because if a soldier kills his the enemies, then the responsibility is taken by the government or the king. But if the same soldier comes and kills for his own selfish purposes, then he will be convicted. Why? Because he was not authorized to do so, because he's not doing that on behalf of the authority. So in the same way, when we work, when we think that everything that belongs to us, that everything that we do is a property or belongs to Krishna, when you have that consciousness, the results of every action has to be enjoyed by Krishna. We do, then we are immediately freed from the reactions of our work. But on the other hand, if we engage same thing in our own sense gratification, for our own sense gratification, for our own selfish purposes, immediately we will be bound. So we should be very careful about it, and that way a devotee can achieve the same result as a yogi meditating on the Himalayas. In fact, Prabhupada says a devotee, even a simple Mataji who is cooking for Krishna, can achieve a better destination than a person who is sitting in a cave and meditating. So that is the power of the Bhakti Yoga process. That is the power of engaging everything in Krishna's service. Because this Shunyavadis or somebody or Mayavadis, they say everything is Maya, everything is Mithya. Like this world is Maya, this world is illusion. You don't work, you give up your work, like that they say. But a Krishna conscious devotee says everything is a property of Krishna. This world might be temporary, but that is real. This world is real, but not permanent. So, like now, how can we say, like, because if somebody find a wallet on the road, okay, and one way of reacting to that thing is, like, if we find a wallet on the road, one person, first person, what he can do? Oh, this wallet doesn't belong to me. This is not my property, and I should not be worrying about it. And he moves forward. The second person finds his wallet. What did he do? Oh, there is money in this wallet, so I'll just keep my for myself, and then so that like because I found it, because this wallet is in my possession right now, I will enjoy the money within it. That is the second way of approach. But what is the third way of approach? Third way of approach is you find the wallet, you find like, oh, there might be some identity card, there might be some phone number associated with it. You find out the person and give that wallet to that person. So who is doing among all these persons, who is doing the greater service is the third person, who actually takes endeavor to give the property to the owner. So the first kind of persons are like Mayavadis. Oh, because this world is Maya, this world doesn't belongs to me, so I should not enjoy. So he just then touches and he goes away. And second kind of person is a karma kanda, karmi, means a materialist. He tries to enjoy the matter. He tries to enjoy his own activities. Like he's like Ravana, okay? He doesn't want Ram, but he wants only Sita. He wants to enjoy everything that is there for his own sense gratification. Because nothing belongs to us. When we came into this material world, we didn't bring anything. And when we are going out from this material world, we're not going to carry anything. So this temporary material illusion keeps saying that, oh, this property belongs to us, this family belongs to us, I can control so many people. These are all illusions. These are all temporary, but they're also real. Okay. So then the third kind of person that we are discussing, right? Third kind of person is the devotee. Oh, everything belongs to Krishna. Now it is my responsibility, because it is under it was given to me. I have to offer it. I have to engage everything in the service of Krishna. That's why in the 10th verse, Krishna says that in the beginning of creation, the Creator has sent forth men and the demigods, and he gave the yajnas so that you perform everything, all the work as a sacrifice to me. Means like you perform your work and show your gratitude to me, and that way demigods will through demigods, and demigods will give you whatever material facility required to you. That way you both will attain the perfection. Means everything has to be done to the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means how can we implement that? When you see our family, you see, oh, this is not my children, these are Krishna's children kept under my care. If you see your husband or wife, say, oh, this Krishna's daughter or son put under my care, or given Krishna gave this authority to take care of them. Like that means all the wealth, all the house, and everything can be seen in that way. That way, we will have the proper perspective that this is not for my sense enjoyment. This is for this thing has given, this responsibility has been given to me by Krishna. So I will engage. I will try to serve Krishna by doing my duty towards them and offering the results, whatever I have achieved, to Krishna. That should be our attitude. By doing so, we will be totally freed from the reactions of our work. What is actually preventing us from going back to Godhead is the reactions of either good or bad reactions of our work. So by performing every activity as a service to Krishna, we will be freed from the reactions of our work, and we will be able to achieve God realization in this very lifetime, and then we'll be able to go back to Godhead. Okay. We'll end it here. If anybody have any questions or comments, we can discuss for some time. I hope you are able to follow, right? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Neelam Khira Mataji, do you want to say something? Or
Yes, I am very impressed. Prabhuji has done so much preparation, so many flow charts, so many repeating of the shlok verses. I am amazed amount of work he has put in. And It's beautiful. It's great. I am so, so overawed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
मुझे बहुत ही
हरी
सुंदर आपने क्लास ली है, मतलब इतना जैसे कि माता जी ने बोला कि इतना ज्यादा आपने ज्ञान इतने थोड़े से समय में भरा और इतनी अच्छे से प्रेजेंट किया है ना, लाइक हमारे पास शब्द नहीं है, आपने जितनी मेहनत करके आज हमें सब बताया है। हमने बहुत बार सुना है कर्म कांड के बारे में, ज्ञान के बारे में किस तरह से, पर आपने जिस तरह एक्सप्लेन किया ना वो एकदम अद्भुत तरीके से किया आज तो। सो
Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच। आप में से जिनके भी प्रश्न है प्लीज अपना हैंड रेज कीजिए। You can raise your hands if you have any question. Please raise your hand if you have questions for Prabhuji. I mean, this was one of the most exemplary lectures I have ever attended, Prabhuji, and I'm pretty sure all the audience feel the same. Anybody has any question for Prabhuji from today's class? Please raise your hands and I will try to unmute all of you one by one. I guess they're still absorbing the content.
Sure, Mataji.
Matajis and Prabhujis, if you have any question, please raise your hand and I would unmute you to ask question. Barsana Rani Mataji. Nobody has any question, or is it just not showing on my screen? If you have any spiritual query regarding today's class, Prabhuji told us so much that why work should not be given up, how we can be, you know. Okay, Neelam Khera Mataji. Neelam Khera Mataji, you can ask your question.
Yes, I'm the most talkative here. I just want to share one more feeling. I feel like I should be in a place where you have put all these flow charts and the pictures and all that, and just keep on looking at them every minute for a long time and days after days. It becomes a part of me. It is so, so good.
Good. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prabhuji, we stretched a little bit today, so I guess we will wind up here. We have no more questions.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming and
Thank you. Hare
giving
Krishna.
us
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
all your guidance. Vancha kalptarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a very nice lecture. Amazing lecture, Prabhuji. Your PPT slides are really very amazing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. His Grace Dvait Acharya Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Manhani Mataji, for taking a very nice seva. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Once again, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.